Hello friends, welcome back to my channel again. Today's video is going to be books that are perfect for beginners. If you are someone who wants to read but don't know where to start, this video is for you. So I have a range of books that is covering all the genres. So there's something for everyone. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first book is the most readable out of all the recommendations I'm going to give today because it is much enjoyable. It is very easy to read and it is so much fun to spend time with. I'm talking about Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. This is the most easy book to read because one, it is a graphic novel. Two, it is written by a famous author who's very much knows what she's writing. She's very famous for writing teen love stories. And three, this is perfect for fall season. The aesthetics, the drawings, everything is set in fall. Just look at the illustrations in this book. They are just out of this world. I cannot just explain how this makes me feel. I always just flip through this book even after reading it multiple times. Just look at this artwork. Isn't it so beautiful? It is completely set in a pumpkin patch and it happens during a Halloween season. And these two people are working there for the last time before they go out and work in different cities, go out for study and all. And she is having a crush on him and he's having crush on someone else. And the entire story is so cute, so beautiful. What happens between them is what the story is about. It is really very, very much energizing. It is so cozy. You have to read this. You'll never regret that decision of picking this book up. It is so beautiful. I cannot recommend you enough. This is something that I will be carrying with me for a very long time to come. I read this around 2 years or 3 years back, but still it is stuck in my head very vividly, and I don't think it's going to go. So this is the most recommended book of all the books that I'm going to recommend you today. I wish you pick this one up, even if you don't pick anything else. So the next two recommendations are, I think, very perfect for beginners just because they are thrillers, and I think that thrillers are such a page turner that will hook you up. And even if you don't want to read, you want to know what's happening next. So I think it is a very safe bet to pick up some thriller if you are a beginner. So the first thriller I'm going to recommend you is Lock Every Door by Riley Sager. This is a book that I read during COVID time. It was so thrilling that I had to finish this in a single day. It is so superb. The story follows Jules. She has running low on money and she recently has to shift from her home because her boyfriend has been cheating on her. So she has to find a job and a place to live. Luckily, she's getting a job that is just to sit an apartment. That is called apartment sitting. You have to just take care of the apartment, which has been vacant for so long for rich people. So there's this huge apartment where only rich people stay and apartment sitters are only allowed there. So one such job is being given to her. She's given insane money. The only rules is that she is not supposed to bring anyone else inside the apartment, or she can spend any night away from the apartment. Her only job is to stay there. Everything is provided for. So who doesn't want this job? She's very much active and she goes there, and certain airy things starts to happen. She finds out that the person who was previously apartment sitting the place is gone missing and nobody cares to know what happened to her. That kind of bothers her and she starts to investigate that, and there is very much of a mystery attached to this entire building, and it's really such a fast-paced thriller, one of the best thrillers that I've ever read. So I can vouch for it. You will never go wrong with this one too. Please do pick it up if you are a thriller fan and you wanted to read more of books that keep you engaged throughout the reading. The next thriller is a YA horror book, that is House of Hollow by Krystal Sutherland. This is the only book that I've read from this author, and I've heard that she's a very good author for young adults. This was, my God, it was mind-blowing. This felt like I was watching a Terminator movie with a horror twist. It's just out of the world. This also was such a fast-paced book that kept me going. The story is about three sisters who are kind of kidnapped once, and they are back now, but their father is finding some difference in them. He is believing that they are not his daughters, and it leads up to his suicide. And once again, at this time, one of the sisters is vanished again, and so the other two are set to find out what happened and what happened in the past too. It has a chasing event. It has such a weird world building that will blow your mind. It's really, really superb that I enjoyed this so much. The language that the author has written is also very easy to digest. It's very nice. It's perfect for beginners. I hope you will enjoy but not spook yourself up. The next two books that I'm going to suggest you are Japanese literature. I love Japanese literature because it is very, very grounded and it speaks basic human emotions. And most of the Japanese books are very short, so it is very much perfect for beginners. And I think the premise of these two books are really interesting, so I think it will intrigue new readers. So the first book that I'm going to tell you is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshigazu Kawaguchi. This is a very famous book. I hope you might have already heard about it. If not, the story is about a cafe where you can time travel. You can go only to the past. You can speak to the person who has already visited the cafe earlier, and you have to come back before the coffee gets cold. And this is kind of an anthology of different stories. People do want to come and meet different people and say goodbye, say they express their love. A sister visits her twin, a mother visits her daughter, and there are a lot of beautiful emotions woven in it. And it's very, very sweet and very chill. This is kind of very perfect for summer season also because the entire thing happens in a cafe on a summer evening, and it's really nice. You should check this out. There are very impressive characters in here. The cafe setting is also very cozy and atmospheric. I loved reading this book. There are a lot of books after this. I think there are 4 books out now, but I would suggest you to read the first one. It's really good. I hope you like it. The next book is one of a book that I read very much earlier, and it is one of the earliest Japanese literature that I read, and that is Strange Weather in Tokyo by Hiromi Kawagami. So this story follows Sukiko, and she meets her school teacher, her former school teacher, and she kind of falls in love with him. I know it's weird, but it is told very beautifully. There's no room for judgment. It is such a beautiful story. The age gap between them is very much high, but it is known that the author is very much aware of it. The main lead, Sukiko, is already 35 plus, so she knows what she's doing. So apart from all these controversial things, the story is so warm and cozy. We kind of travel throughout the year with all the seasons and see how their love grows and dies. It has so many basic human emotion. It talks life philosophies. They hop from club to club and from bar to bar, meeting people, and they spend time together, and slowly the love blooms. And it is kind of very interesting to see that how a 35-year-old girl thinks about life and how a 75-year-old man what he thinks about life. It was really very interesting to see that dynamics grow. So I personally liked it. I hope you will love it too. So the next book recommendation is for all the romance lovers out there. This book is really very perfect for beginners because this is young adults, and the book is written in such a beautiful format like nothing I've ever seen before. The book I'm talking about is Little Something Different by Sandy Hall. So this is very unique because there are two characters, Leah and Gabe. So it is a love story of them, and the story is told in multiple POVs. Like their school teacher tells the story about them, and the school bench tells the story. School bus driver tells us the story. Even a squirrel also comes up and tells the story. So it is really very nice to read it. It is very fresh. You can just breeze through the story. It's really, really very fun to read. You know, they're going to get together in the end. It's really, really good. Even the barista, everyone was telling a story that is different from one another, and you find fragments of their life from each POVs, and it is really good. You should definitely check this out. It is one of the easiest book to read, and it's not much thick too. You can finish it off within a week if you are a new beginner, and I hope you will like it. So the next book that I'm going to talk to you about is Anxious People by Fredrick Backman. Now, Fredrick Backman is a very famous Sweden author. He writes in Swedish, but all his works are being translated. He is such a famous author. He writes really good books. But there are a lot of books that he has written. If you want to get into Fredrick Backman, this book is the best one to start with because it's hilarious. You will laugh your lungs out. It's basically a story about a bank robbery that has gone wrong. There are set of characters in it. Everyone is so hilarious and funny. I cannot talk more about this book because I think it will spoil the experience of reading it. Just trust the process and read this book. The chapters are very small, so it is very easy to consume the book. Before you know it, you will be finishing this book. So even if it is 300 pages, you will finish it off very soon, and you will enjoy being with the characters and being with the minds of the people. Fredrick Backman is known for writing people's emotions so beautifully. It feels like he can just see through you and see what's in your heart and what you're feeling. It's really very beautiful. It has some emotional chapters too, but it's basically a funny book. So these are the characters that are stuck inside the bank when the robbery is happening. So the police are trying to talk to these people, and they also have conversation inside the bank when the robbery is happening. So at the back of the book, again, there are some more characters. This is the robber. Everyone is such hilarious characterization. I cannot believe that this author has thought about these kind of peculiar characters to tell his story. It's such a fun read. Do check it out. Okay. The next set of books are all middle grade books. The reason I'm recommending these middle grade books are I find it very easy to read a book that is not for my age very easily if I'm a beginner. So I would advise you to read books that are not of your age. If you are a teen, try reading some middle grades. If you are an adult, try reading some young adult and middle grade books. They are awesome, by the way. There are so many gems of middle grades that I have read and enjoyed. One day I might do some middle grade recommendation video too. I'm hoping to do. So these three books are really close to my heart, and I hope it will be very helpful for the beginners. So the first book is called The Frust Heart by Jamie Littler. I read this just last year during the Christmas time. This is set in a very cold land, and the story follows Ash. He's been orphan. He's an orphan. He doesn't know his parents, and he's been told that his parents are dead, and he's been taken care by the village, and he always ends up getting in trouble. So he's been handed over to the Etty of the village, a grumpy Etty who has to take care of this boy. So this boy one day finds out that he has a magical power to sing and tame the very horrible creatures of the land, and he finds out that his parents are also not dead. So he sets out on a journey with the Etty, and the entire adventure is the story about such a heartwarming, beautiful, winter chilly cozy book. I enjoyed thoroughly. I have a very detailed vlog about this. I would like to link that down below if you want to check it out. You will have deeper thoughts about this book in that video. So this book is a trilogy. This is the first book. I haven't read the other two books, but this is very perfect for beginners. And it also has some illustrations too. And it also has some beautiful illustrations throughout the book. It's really, really very fun to read it, watching the illustrations. It was such a wonderful time. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and you will enjoy it too if you pick it up. The next book I want to tell you about is the book that I'm most excited for, because this is a part of my childhood and this is a part of myself, even as an adult. And that book is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling. I could not have completed this beginners friendly list without putting a Harry Potter book into it. You just have to read this if you haven't read it. It's such a beautiful work of art. It has touched so many hearts. It is the favorite book for so many people for very good reason. So if you have been living under a rock, this story is about Harry Potter, who on his 11th birthday suddenly finds out that he's a wizard and his parents are wizard, but they are dead, and he has to go to a magical school to learn magic and witchcraft. I don't know what else to say. This book is filled with magic, whimsy, friendship, beautiful friendship, being loyal to someone. It speaks about so many higher values, and the characters are so good. The character arc is so good. If you can manage to read it, I would really recommend to read all the 7 books. But if you are a beginner, please start with the first one. It is wonderful. I promise that you will have a very good time with this. The last book recommendation is for those people who kind of fear thicker books. So this is a very thin book with only 120 pages in it. And that book is The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupery. So this is a very simple story about an alien who is having conversation with a air marshal, I think, in the Sahara Desert. And it generally speaks about basic human emotions and basic human nature. because the alien is trying to understand what humans are and how the earth works. So this is actually for kids. So it's very, very simple in its language, and the kind of topics that they speak are very high and very, very philosophical, but it's told in a very, very simple way, and you will love it. This is one of the cutest and heartwarming book that I've ever read. This little prince will stay in your heart forever if you read it. So that is pretty much it, guys. These are all the books that I wanted to recommend for beginners. If you have read any of these books, please do comment below your thoughts on that books. And if you think that there are some more books that are beginner friendly, please do leave in the comments. That will be very useful for other people too. And I seriously hope that this video will make you pick up any book from this list. Until I see you in the very next video with a bookish content, this is Sushmita signing off.